Welcome into Blockchain Basement. On today's episode, we're going to talk about why the US government hates Bitcoin. The SEC suing Binance, trying to send the price to zero. Right now, all this and more on today's Blockchain Basement. You ready for this? I'm ready. Welcome.
If you're gonna screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
Out to give the numbers out. And I was like, no, hang up the phone right now.
Or like when it dropped in 2020, was it like exciting?
400,000 to 600,000. The generational signals are now.
Level. So I don't even know if we're gonna get back below there. But if we do, that's kind of where we.
All right, welcome in. We got a really good show for you guys today. We've got AJ Wrights Crypto joining us, the Druth wearing his Blockchain Basement shirt, the lovely Ali Lee, and on the sticks today, just like Friday, we've got Owen joining us. I don't know if you can take your shot, say hello. I don't know, your mic's kind of down and far away, but he's got a pretty smile, you know, he's got a nice hat. So there he is. Hey, there he is. So gonna have a really good time for you guys today. We're gonna talk a little bit about Apple and VR this morning. We got the big Apple announcement going on today. VR headset, a lot of people talking about that. We talked about it a little bit last week. And then right before we were getting ready to go live, a lot of the news about SEC versus Binance started breaking. Got quotes from, I think it was the COO, Chief Compliance Officer, talking about things, you know, they're quoting in different things. Oh, and of course, shout out to all of you guys on in the attic, in the basement, in the chat. We've got Chili Rainbow, the King Takao, Jared Press, Dr. Pancake says afternoon, TJ, Ninja Glock, Man, Walk, Crypto, Stevo, Solar Mining in Spain, Crypto, Cali Dude, Meta, Hirsch, Fluffy the Sheep. Yes, you called it before the show. I am the one hosting today. Uncle Tinfoil, CW, BMG TV, Jared Press, and many more. We love all of you guys. Oh, actually, go ahead. We do have a big channel announcement, a little housekeeping today. I don't know if you guys, whoever is the most observant has probably noticed this already, but where's the
Fluffy the sheep? Is that what you're talking
Fluffy the sheep? Let's see. By the way, there a new channel for the Truth. There is a new series. It's a playlist. It is on. If you check out Blockchain Bunker playlist on this channel,
2:30 today, right after the stream.
There you go. You got something special. But we also, so we've been talking about, for all of you guys that have been longtime members on Twitch, in the basement subscribers, you guys wanted to support the channel. You wanted to get more of that interactive involvement. We are creating a NFT that's going to be a free claim NFT. You don't have to buy it. It's just, it's going to be a claim link, but it's going to be part of the Discord server and kind of the subscription. They don't call it subscribers on Twitch. They call it members. I mean, I'm sorry, on YouTube. Subscribers on Twitch, members on YouTube. So basically what we're going to be doing, it's the sub 15K NFT. Anybody who's subscribed under 15,000 subscribers gets, you know, a free claim NFT. It will be,
that's pretty cool.
We're going to release it on the community page, and the community page will go to only members of the channel. So if you're part of the channel, if you're supporting, then you can claim this NFT. In the future, we're also setting up a Discord for you guys. We've been wanting to get more interaction with the viewers onto the show. So we've been talking about, Taco and Hannah are working on the details of setting a lot of this stuff up right now. What we're looking at is, as part of we're still working on what all the perks are going to be, but as one of the perks, potentially talking about having some private sections in the Discord where we can bring you up on the stage, bring that audio in, and make, you know, basically your voice or potentially your camera. We're still playing with that part of this live show, so you can have live interaction with you guys in the chat. Just like, Drew GG was top 5 on Twitch. I know, you know, Manawak was there for a long time. Corey Harden, Chemistry Bro. A lot of these guys have been members and subscribers for a really, really, really long time on Twitch. We wanted to set up something similar on YouTube and create that community and that interactive dynamic. So more to come on that rolling out. We're going to open it up. It'll be, as of starting today, you can join to become a YouTube member, and then, like I said, you'll have all the way until we hit 15,000 subscribers to claim that NFT. Still working on the website and all that sort of stuff. It's definitely a decent out-of-pocket expense. It's not really a money-making thing. Probably going to cost us, 8 to 9K to get all this done in the long run. And then hopefully, I don't know what we're going to do with the NFT. Hopefully something fun in the future. But just an FYI, that's coming. It's going to be fun. What's up, Big Daddy? Welcome in. So, all right, let's look at price. It's been, speaking of bloody, it's been a bloody Monday. We've got price coming in at CoinMarketCap, 25,600 right now, pushing 6% on the 24-hour. I mean, you guys can see all of that really broke Let's see, right at about 11 o'clock when the Binance news broke out. I mean, we were kind of flat for most of the day, 26, 27, holding in that similar range where we've been for a while, and then just fell off the cliff there. So,
whoa.
It's coming in at 25.6 right now. We haven't quite found the bottom yet, but a lot of that is due to, I mean, and you'll see it. I mean, it's hitting a bunch of alts. There were some metaverse alts that were up a little bit beforehand on the Apple news, but for the most part, not really too much going on there. Now, I'm going to talk about a few macro things, and then we're going to get into what's going on with the SEC. So we've got this. This is definitely long-term bullish. We were looking Thursday and Friday at the timeline of the cycles, and when where we are in the timeline, where it seems to be a decent part where it's going to be boring and sideways, but there's not a whole lot of action. But as far as the selling pressure is mostly exhausted at this point, which I think is evident, especially with the news of with this Binance news breaking. It's not, in my opinion, that dramatic of a pullback. But this was interesting. Bitcoin held on exchanges is hitting a 5-year low, meaning, you know, we know a lot of people have withdrawn. We know a lot of people are holding in self custody a lot more. Generally speaking, when Bitcoin on exchanges is low, this is bullish because nobody's looking to sell. That means there's just you know, there's at least one more step that has to be taken before, you know, whales can take big, you know, create big selling pressure. This was just another fun one. This is here, I'll retweet this if you guys want to grab it. Anytime you're talking with somebody and they want to give you a hard time about, you know, investing in Bitcoin over the last few years, and you compare it to literally any other financial asset, this is going down. You know, you got the NASDAQ, large caps, gold, treasuries, convertible bonds, investment grade bonds, high yield bonds, total bond, you know, like you can go down all these different investment, you know, tools over the years. And, you know, obviously, you know, Bitcoin's crushed it since 2010. So you look back here and it's like, okay, but you could even go since, you know, 2015. And it's not even close when you look at it compared to anything else. It's just something fun I like to use.
Convertible bonds. Click into that real quick. There's something kind of interesting. Just a side note. Look at convertible bonds in 2020. That's a pretty incredible return.
On bonds, yeah, 53%.
I just wanted to look at that. I might want to look into why that might have been.
And that we were talking a little bit before the show about reverse repo stuff. And that might have some tie in there. And
the stock, the U.S. NASDAQ just crushed it during 2019 and 2020.
Well, they were printing money like crazy. Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's what's really interesting when you zoom out and you look at this stuff. You've got, you know, they're printing money like crazy through this time period. So the stock market's absolutely crushing it. If you knew, obviously, rate hikes were coming into 2022, which they announced. This is not private information. Like, it was public. They said through 2022, we're going to raise it this much on these dates. Smart money just immediately exited, you know, and you made big gains 2019, 2020, 2021. You got out of the dangerous way for 2022, and then you got back in at the bottom, and then you're riding it back up at 23. So, you know, keep an eye on this. You know, I just think it's interesting. There's plenty of smart. I deal with a lot of other people that are smart investors. They made a lot of money investing in a lot of different things, and they love to poo-poo Bitcoin because there's all these other things that have done well for them. And it's like, that's great. I don't want to take away from what has done well for you. It's probably on this list. I chose Bitcoin, and it's outperforming those. Why don't you leave me alone and let me invest in my Bitcoin, and, you know, you do your thing, I'll do mine, and we'll just compare notes in a few years and see where we're at. You know? It just gets frustrating with a lot of people that don't research Bitcoin, don't understand Bitcoin, blockchain, the space at all, will just try to throw the whole thing out without ever really looking at any data. And so anytime you have more data at your disposal, I like to, you know, pass it along to them, just friendly. It says, don't forget Joel, TJ. Oh, Joe, don't forget Joe. What's up, Joe? Nice. I'm glad you made it. We can start now. Well, shout out from last Thursday. His name's too simple, doesn't always get mentioned. So
the people want to know, are we buying or are we waiting for more of a pullback?
On a day like today, I'm buying hardcore. I was going to message you if you had more stuff on the sidelines to buy today.
I'm frustrated.
For me today,
I just bought some.
It's okay. We bought some last week. I think it's okay to buy. You don't want to be frustrated when you buy and the price goes down a little bit more not long after you buy. It's just an opportunity because you didn't put all your money in. You only put half your money in. So now you have an opportunity to put more in. I feel really good around this price point at 25. I feel like it's not that much of a dip on this news. We're gonna have to wait and see. It's very new breaking to see how much of this. Obviously, they're targeting CZ, they're targeting Binance.com. If it's specifically through Binance US, I don't know if it's gonna have that much weight. You know, if Binance US ultimately ends up pulling out of the United States again, we'll have to wait and see how much actual tangible impact this news has. To me, What I see is this is going to be a very big, splashy legal publicity case that they use to get a lot of legislation and words and statements from professionals documented that they can use as precedent that they can refer back to later.
Or propaganda.
Yeah, to lock in. They're really pushing home this, was it digital crypto securities? Is that what they're calling it?
Digital assets.
Digital crypto assets. Yeah, something like that. Or digital
asset securities.
Asset securities. Yep. There it is. Yeah. And I feel like they're going to use a case like this to really, make all these statements, cross-examine, create all this precedent. I don't know how much it's going to impact us in the short term, but I do think this is going to be a very interesting case as we go forward to keep an eye on. But I'll have to dig into it a little bit more. It was breaking right before the show. We do have some quotes and some interesting statements that they've already pulled out that look very interesting. But
real quick,
yeah,
don't mean to interrupt, but in this case, are they calling out like certain coins, calling them securities like they did like with Bittrex and stuff?
They are, yeah. They are doing that. There is a list. I don't know how many. I've got a list so far where there's I want to say 10 where they've listed these ones are securities. Yep. I don't know how many other ones there are, if there's more details to this.
So I definitely want to circle to that list, but my point here is that Ben and I actually had a conversation about this late last week, and it's super difficult for them to go directly to Drew has the list right here. It's super difficult for them to go directly into a battle with a coin. Like, look how long and drawn out the XRP case is. We still don't have any precedent to run through with that. The coins on this list are BNB, BUSD, Solana, Cardano, Matic, Filecoin, Atom, Sand, Mana, Algorand, AXS, and Cody. They're calling securities. So, and also keep in mind here, just like they did with the Bittrex case, once again, they called out Algorand, they called out, I believe, Dash, they called out Filecoin, stuff like that. And when they do this hasn't worked for them yet. When they, in the Coinbase case with insider trading, they called out, I believe, 8 or 9 coin securities then. But when that case settled, when the guy went to jail or whatever, that was all left out. So this is a new way the SEC is trying to backdoor calling things securities, not through a direct court case like XRP, but in another lawsuit against an exchange. And this has not worked for them yet. They're trying it with Bittrex. Now they're trying it with Binance. It failed with Coinbase. So this is their new secret backdoor that they're trying to open for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, and it feels like they're also trying to stack as much as they can before they they might get ruled against in the XRP case. If that happened, that'd be crazy. It's a possibility though. And in my mind, they might be stacking up these lawsuits against exchanges and coins just to have all this noise created to try to have an ongoing narrative that was put in place before we lost that. So we still got to look at it and get more talking points out of it. So, we'll see what they do with that. But
yeah, good point. Good analysis. Because like you said, there's several, not narratives, but kind of things going on throughout these cases. You've got the SEC positioning, trying to get their stuff in. You've got the U.S. regulation trying to make heads or tails of which direction they should go. You've got all these crypto companies trying to just provide a service within a very unclear environment. Everybody's got different motivations. Whether some of these exchanges are global, most of them. So they've got international agendas that they're trying to push. Obviously, Kraken, Gemini, Coinbase, they're based here in the U.S., so they're a little bit more U.S. tied. However, their product still goes globally. So everybody's kind of dancing and working within their own incentives, which is why it's going to be really interesting to see how a lot of this shapes up. Good point on mentioning, again, you mentioned BNB, BUSD, which is obviously what they're seeing. They don't like stable coins. Anybody with a stable coin is a top attack vector, I feel like, for the United States. One thing that is interesting, a lot of these, projects you've heard of, especially Cardano,
big
Matic,
ones.
Solana, Mana, Sand, but no mention of Ethereum.
Yep.
That was a big note, thing that I noticed is ETH wasn't on the list.
Yeah.
So just, again, something else to keep in mind. Let's give a little context for you guys that are catching up here. Here's the actual news. SEC suing crypto exchange Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao, mostly called CZ, over multiple securities violations. So they're suing CZ, not Binance, according to the way this headline's written. The company already faces a suit from the commodities, the CFTC, and I think the New York Department of Justice is involved in that as well. So the U.S. SEC sued crypto exchange Binance, the operating company of Binance US, and the founder. So they're suing Binance.com and the founder CZ specifically. Binance, Binance US, and CZ offered unregistered securities to the general public in the form of BNB token and Binance linked BUSD stablecoin, said the suit, which also alleges that Binance staking service violated securities laws. There are similar charges against BAM Trading, the operating company for Binance.us, the Binance and Binance itself, including a failure to register as a clearing agency, failure to register as a broker, failure to register as an exchange. The SEC also alleged that Binance allowed for commingling of customer funds, that CZ was secretly controlling Binance US, and that CZ owned an operating entity that was inflating Binance US trading volume. Those are the claims. The SEC also alleged that a number of the other tokens, this is part we already mentioned, would be securities. So that's most of the allegations. According to the suit, CZ owned 100% of an entity called CPZ Holdings Limited, which in turn owned 100% of BAM Management Company Limited, which for its parts owned 81% of BAM Management US Holdings. With the remaining equity going to seed investors and former employees. BAM Management US was the parent company to BAM Trading Services, which in turn operates Binance US. That's a pretty interesting.
That's a crypto centipede right there.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Professor L, welcome to the OG status. First one in there.
Is that the subscription?
That is part of this.
A member.
That's being a YouTube member. OG status. So
that comes out great.
Yeah, if you turn into a member now, you get that OG status. That's what we're calling it. So anybody who was sub 15K is a basement OG.
On a huge screen too.
Yeah, that is cool.
You can't see it from here, but it
makes it really easy for us to see. So huge shout out there. So, and you get some fun emojis and that sort of stuff too. So, now CZ's response right here in a tweeted number 4, which made me think this was one of 4, and I went looking for the rest of them. I couldn't find them, but essentially calling the news FUD. He says, our team is still standing by, ensuring systems are stable, including withdrawals deposit. We will issue a response once we see the complaint. Haven't seen it yet. Media gets the info before we do. So this is this is kind of standard when there's a big lawsuit like this. They will them being usually the prosecutor or somebody who's preparing the lawsuit, they will share the lawsuit with media outlets before it actually gets served to the actual defendant. So it usually goes public before they really get much chance to respond.
What a mess too. Yeah. Then you have to respond to the public before you know what's going on.
Yeah, before you know what you're really responding to. Yeah. So, there's the lawsuit. It's out there. He mentioned a few different things. I tend to, and when things like this happen, especially in my experience, looking at Binance, looking at CZ, I'm not going to say that there's not the potential of any wrongdoing whatsoever, especially the further you go back in crypto. I guarantee they can find people didn't file all the paperwork the way they preferred all the paperwork to be filed. And that's generally the complaint that they're saying. Unregistered X, Y, and Z. You didn't get the licenses we wanted you to have before you started doing this stuff. That it's not that we don't think you should do it. We just want you to pay the piper before you do it, is really the main crux.
That's what all this boils down to.
It is. It's basically, if you don't play within our rules and tell us what you're doing, we don't like the fact that you're able to create value, without us getting our piece. It's very mafia-like feeling. You got to pay. It's racket. I mean, I don't know. You don't want to call it racketeering, but that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. That's what it is.
Listen, it's done by things that write laws. So you're in trouble.
We can't do it though, but they can do it in bulk.
Yeah. So my take on this, if you're asking if this is a buy event or sell event, this is a buy event in my opinion. This is a buy the rumor. With the rumor is this is a really bad thing. Price is going down. When the actual news plays out, I think it's gonna be a very long drawn out thing. It'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out.
I was thinking about something. I was thinking about this. Jay Clayton last day at SEC put the lawsuit against XRP.
And then he walked away.
Right. And then Gensler's left with this stuff.
Welcome to OG status, Ayan. Yes.
Oh, another one, Ayan. Yeah.
There you go.
And then I saw, CZ's thinking about getting a new CEO for the international Binance this morning. And then this story popped right up after that and stuff. It just kind of, it made me have a little deja vu, or just maybe just like some type of, maybe he's just spreading it out and because he knows he's going to be dealing with this ahead of time. But I mean, really what you said about them needing to just pay off the fine or redo the paperwork and pay the process again is really all it's going to come down to. So,
yeah. And also welcome Solar Mining in Spain. Crypto Stevo says, this is a get your coins off Binance US event. I would agree with that. If you do still have coin now, you're not going to get them stuck on there. In my opinion, like they're going to give you time to withdraw, but if you do still have funds, and at this point, if you have a significant amount of funds that you're not comfortable losing sitting on any exchange, I would ask you why. But if this could be another motivation, like, I've got, whatever you've got. I don't know what would be sitting on Binance. Oh, I've got my OP on Binance US and I don't have a wallet set up for it yet. Okay, go ahead and, now's not a bad time to go ahead and withdraw it. And
it's forced sovereignty. I love it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You just get pushed.
Sometimes when you're procrastinating, you just need a little positive motivation. Hey, Uncle Tinfoil Hat, they're piling in now. I still love that.
Pretty cool.
Trend.
So if you do still have funds there, do it. Ultimately, I don't think this will make or break Binance. Binance is a very strong company. Most of their business isn't in the US anyway. Yep. There's always been, I will say this, ever since Binance US was created, I think I want to say it launched in 2018, but it could have been later than that. Maybe it just started getting talked about then. Obviously 2017, and I believe some part of 2018, it didn't exist. It was only Binance.com. So 2016, 2017, everybody was getting on Binance. Binance US started. Catherine Cooley was the CEO, left under very strange circumstances. What does it say?
It's 2019.
29. It did say in 2019. Okay. They talked about it a lot in 2018, officially launched 2019. Catherine Cooley was CEO for a very brief amount of time. I believe Brian Brooks was also CEO for a very short amount of time. Who also Office of the Comptroller did, stuff with Coinbase. So it's been a very, the CEO and the head of Binance US has been a very murky position. And obviously would not be surprised if they did have to answer a lot to their parent companies. That being said, I'm never on the side of the SEC. Nope. And it'll just be really interesting. Ray from the gym, my dude. We'll probably see you in an hour or two, probably. But
what kills me here is like that court that hearing. I forget the technical name of that hearing. McHenry put Gensler directly in the fire, threw him directly in the fire. Can't even tell us what a security actually is. Can't say what he can't even speak for himself. Like all the finagly games he was playing here. But guess what? Operation Chokehold 2.0, back at it again. It's just like. I'm so frustrated that I can barely speak right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's an ongoing, and you're wondering why he's still in power and why he's still making these calls when he was embarrassed in front of the whole country by multiple senators, Patrick McHenry being one of them. He got grilled for like 5 hours and just had all these horrible talking points about how he couldn't verify what was and was not a security, like in front of Congress, and they made it clear that you were exercising actions that we did not give you permission to do so.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's just it's an overstep by someone that's trying to overtake Congress. Congress is really where we need to be reaching out to and wrapping our arms around Congress right now, because they're actually the ones that are still Congress and the Supreme Court. Those are our two portions of government that are still decent. It's funny you say,
after this, I'm going to go on Twitter and see like what Patrick McHenry and Cynthia Lummis, I wonder what they're tweeting about right now. Like, is this in their... Well, I'm curious. I'm going to do some research.
Patrick McHenry's been busy over the weekend.
My boy.
He actually released a very, I don't know if it's just a document right now where he's proposing, we'll come back to this in just a minute. I do want to hit a couple of things from the chat, but proposing some regulation, laying the foundation for regulatory jurisdictions and definitions, consumer protections. I believe it touched on stable coins. A comprehensive bill of this magnitude warrants an in-depth review, which we'll be conducting over the coming days. But what we're seeing is so far encouraging. I'm especially encouraged by the attention the authors give to the discussion around what constitutes a security versus a commodity. Hopefully these definitions can settle that protracted debate once and for all. So 2-bit idiot Ryan Selkis was sharing some of this stuff as well. Good information coming out of them. And to Drew's point, these are the people we need to be leaning on. It's definitely not the SEC and Gary Gensler. No. I do see Ray from the gym said we definitely need to weather the storm. We're not out of crypto winter. The future is bright, but we still have to wait. I agree with that 100%. Now is the time to stay the course. That's why I was trying to drive that home last Thursday, like the conviction that now is the time to be accumulating, to be doubling down, to really to kind of reestablish your resolve again and get fired up about what you're doing. Yeah, the mission, because now's the best opportunity to be accumulating. And if you let the fear seep in right now when it's at peak FUD, you're going to miss this window that is the best accumulation point you have between now, in my opinion, between right now and the halving, or really obviously since last November and the halving, anything in this lower part of the I just saw Rico's Out of the corner of my eye. I totally lost my train of thought. But accumulate right now. Also, we have about 500 people watching right now. Only 124 likes. If you guys could stop what you're doing for 1 second, smash that like button. It helps more people learn about Bitcoin and changing their financial future. And it's important, guys. There's a lot at stake here, especially in this next year or so. Hopefully, you guys at home are educating yourselves, are accumulating. Bitcoin, Ethereum. Sure, there's plenty of good altcoins out there right now that you could be accumulating, but really, this part of the market, I think, is stack the most solid bags that you can right now. I think I might have just deleted it, but there was here we go. This is just a fun reminder. There's always going to be a better coin. The coin you think is great today will be overshadowed in the next cycle. Holding anything long term, except for maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, is for suckers. I didn't used to think this. The longer I've been in this space, the more cycles I go through, which I've only been through a few or two really full ones. The more this feels true to me.
Yeah,
it's sad but true. All my hopes and dreams for my 2017, 18 coins all got dashed in 2020, 2021. I'm still holding on to some of those dreams from 2020, 2021. I have to remind myself of stuff like this, of like, look, when the next bull run comes, and maybe the ones we're talking about right now are those, maybe it is, Arweave, maybe it is, Algorand, maybe it is, Trader Joe, some of these other things, who knows? But if there's anything I've learned about crypto, it's short time horizon on altcoins, long time horizon on Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's, don't trade them, don't invest in them, so that's just a little, go ahead.
Really fast, just to kind of go with this whole idea here. Basically, like this news breaking today, I would consider like pretty cataclysmic news, like pretty big deal. I'm actually surprised things didn't fall harder. I kind of, when I first saw the story and I looked at the chart and I saw the candle just start to run down, I kind of just like looked at it and I was just like, it's not falling as hard and as long as I thought it would. And to be honest here, if you go back on your Bitcoin, look at like the 12-hour, the 1-day chart, right? And you look at February 20th this year, we got shut down at exactly 25,280 something, like 25,290 range, right? And we got shut down from that.
This is going to take me a while to get in that range.
And so basically what I'm saying here is that that was previously the ceiling and we surpassed it, and we are going to retest that level. We're actually we wicked near it, but we have come back up since then. And I kind of feel sort of safe as long as Bitcoin is above that previous level, because that's obviously an important support resistance line. So keep an eye on 25,290.
A lot of people are going to be asking for that CME gap to be filled now.
That's true too. But that's like 20, right?
It's at $20,300, I think, if I remember correctly. It was a pretty big CME gap, and when I was doing the chart, the bigger ones seemed to get filled more. But honestly, it's pretty new data, so don't take it for just absolute gospel or 100%. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to be asking if that 20,300 level is going to get hit, and if this 25 floor will work for us.
And just to kind of with that is that now are the times when things can get really bad is when they try to kick us while we're down. I wouldn't be that surprised to see a really, really bad story come out in the next day or two, because they're going to try to double down on the FUD kicking in the teeth. And I'm probably going to set a like 60-70% of my stuff. I'm going to draw a line somewhere, because there is a point where like you can't just hold a downtrend forever. For my Bitcoin, probably that support resistance line, because if it's going to break that SR line, it's definitely going to fall further. And then you could buy some at a cheaper price with the payer that you keep now, instead of just sitting in it and riding down all the way down the hill. I've done that before, never again.
Well, and I saw with the altcoins, I insulated altcoins back into Bitcoin. I had like small little bags of altcoins laying around. I saw this news. I was like, these things are going to dump big time, and so, yeah, I'm basically all in Ethereum and Bitcoin, except for a few, long-term holds, an OP, DAG, and an XRP. So had to kind of insulate.
We had a super chat earlier from Clary. Had $500 to invest in one project.
for the bull run.
For the whole bull run.
If I had $500, I would wait until if I only had $500, I would wait until 3 months out. If they say the halving's in April, I'd wait till May, June, July of 2024, and I'd pick something brand new at that time.
Yeah.
That's what I would
High return when everything's on its way, all the excitement's back.
But also, welcome. See, this is the Bitcoin way, and Crypto Naughty. Welcome to OG status. Love it, love that. And this was just, I'm going to blow through some of these other topics here real quick because I've got a lot of tabs. I had a lot of stuff about the Treasury stuff over the weekend because that was the hot topic. Obviously, all that Treasury talk mattered all weekend. And then Monday morning, this SEC thing comes out and nobody's talking about the Treasury anymore. Everybody's talking about that. But this was just a fun, like, hey, we're probably still early. Imagine if all stocks sold off 10 to 20% because one broker was getting a lawsuit by the SEC. Gotta love crypto, which is so true when you think about it in perspective. Like that happens all the time in the traditional stock world. Imagine like, hey, this clearinghouse is getting a letter from the SEC and all stocks just
That's
crash.
a really good tweet.
Or the fines for fraud against JP Morgan. No other banks are worried about it when it comes out.
This, I want to ask you guys, especially AJ and Drew, since you guys talk price a lot. I put this on Instagram over the weekend, get some interesting, responses to it. I was actually pretty impressed with IG's. I'm trying to put it where you can see. Does that help? There you go. Bitcoin halving day. And this was just interesting to see. This is the price of Bitcoin on different halving days, 2012, 2016, 2020. And then obviously we've got the one coming up in 24, March, April, May-ish, a few different, I think it's April-ish, but
price on halving day.
So 2012, it was $12. And this is another thing that makes it really interesting when you look at this. Okay, so you're just going every 4 years. So 2016, you were talking $650 Bitcoin. You've got 2020 and $8,800 Bitcoin. What do you think the price of Bitcoin will be on the day of the halving? Pick your number. And it'd be fun if we can, if somebody makes a clip of this for the stream, and then we can come back and check it in a year and see if we're.
I'm thinking 42,000.
42.
I'm thinking 42,000.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a number, AJ? I don't want to put you on the spot too much. If you need to do some calculations, I'll go next. But because I kind of have mine.
I like your line. I'm looking at a 5-day chart right now, and have the gap to 24, and I'm just kind of thinking what looks sense. I like Drew's pick. I'm gonna say I really like your pick. I'm gonna say 38.
38. That like a true Jeopardy guy.
All right, I'm gonna play. I'll take 30,000 even. Obviously, it's not gonna be even 30,000, but like maybe 29.8. But I'll take 30,000 even just to make the numbers math. See you later, SAS Finance. We'll see you next time.
Oh, and if I had $500 right now, quant.
Yeah, you put it in quant.
Yeah.
You have a sneaky pick, Drew?
I would Cardano or DAG or something really aggressive, something low market cap, pretty well known with a good community.
Here you go. If you want something that's out right now, I'd put it in ZK Sync.
Yeah,
that's a good pick.
Did you have a pick for Bitcoin price?
No, I would go with Drew.
Drew,
Somewhere around 40.
Cali Crypto dude, welcome to OG status. You're the man. We appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna blow through a few of these. So, okay, 30. I've mentioned this before, but it never stops blowing my mind. 30% of U.S. government debt matures in the next 12 months from 1.7% interest rate to what, around 5%. But don't worry, because the debt ceiling's been suspended through 2025, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Here we go. Outstanding U.S. government debt. All of this is maturing very soon. This is not good. This is why they had to raise the debt ceiling. I mean, they had to raise the debt ceiling anyway, but
they're going to do it again too.
They sure are. Current market expectations for the path of the Fed rate funds. This was interesting. This is, you guys, a lot of you have probably seen that chart, the block chart that shows all the different, expectations. Bet, this is 30% they might raise, 60% they might, this is putting it on a line chart. It was just easier to see. So basically the expectation is a pause in June, a hike in July, pause in, this is just as the odds play right now. This does not necessarily saying it's going to play out this way, but pause in June, hike, 25 in July, pause in September, cut in November, pause in December, cut in December. So basically, if we're right here at the beginning of this, just tick up one more and then slow and steady all the way down through. This is basically dropping through all of 2024, which again would make a very favorable asset environment. Welcome to OG Status Manawak for all of 2024, which again, you get rate cuts going into massive treasury bills, no debt ceiling, Bitcoin halving, regulatory clarity, if you can get all of that happening within 1 year, this is what gets me excited about the end of diminishing returns and a true blow off top cycle next time that really, I think, surprises a lot of people and sends us. Again, this is where I think we're going to get Bitcoin well over, or at least over 200,000 next Bitcoin cycle.
How silly is it that prank call looks like it's actually true?
Yeah, like he actually told them the truth.
He told them the truth.
He did.
He told the prankers the truth. So one more rate hike.
Hey, Jerome Powell, honest man, apparently.
He is. It ain't much.
I'm actually, believe it or not, liking him the most through this whole process of anybody involved in it.
He does not have an easy job.
Yeah, he's got a tough job. He's been fairly honest. He's done basically exactly what he said he was going to do. Now who's pulling what strings, who knows? But
he just doesn't feel like he has like that devious, like militia, that intent. Gary Gensler is just straight up a piece of shit.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like
you can clearly see he's angling. He's trying to get his piece. Powell feels a little bit more like he doesn't have a dog in the race. You guys might be screwed. You guys might be screwed.
Yeah. He reminds me of my grandpa.
He's just disappointed in you.
Just disappointed. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. I'm just disappointed in all the decisions you guys made.
Wait, what did you say earlier, Drew? That does not spark joy.
Yes, they did not spark joy.
Did not spark joy.
Yeah.
Need to focus.
You gotta say even kill.
So this is a fun fact if you're into bond markets and investing in governments. U.S. bond market has now been in a drawdown for 34 months, by far the longest in history. This is a little scary. So like other points in history when there was long monthly drawdowns. Was talking about is that July 80?
1980?
Yeah, 1980. So that was the 80s, crash. Basically, that was happening there. They had 16-month of drawdown. May 2013. It's not in any. This is in order of the monthly drawdowns, not, so you got a lot in the 80s, 80 here in the 83, 84, 79. So obviously other times of economic uncertainty. Welcome, LJJ, to OG status. It's just interesting. 34 months in comparison. The next longest was 16, 12. So they got to get this stuff in order. It's just basically this represents the consumer confidence in the U.S. government's ability to pay its debt, more or less.
August 20. Some big. I mean, look at how many months. 34 months.
Yeah. Well, that's
lack of confidence.
And then you go look at those convertible notes. I wonder if there's any.
It's ongoing.
Yeah.
There's no end of drawdown yet for it.
Exactly. All right. We just looked at this. Blah blah blah. We'll come back to that. All right, so here's where they're talking about the Treasury is about to dump 170 billion worth of Treasury bonds on the market today. This is happening today, Monday, June 5th. 65 billion, 58 billion, 50 billion. A lot of people are questioning who's going to buy it. I've seen a lot of those. Yeah, here's one of these questions. So, debt ceiling raised $1 trillion in new bonds to hit the market, but who's going to buy them? Over the past decade, foreign central banks transitioned from adding to their U.S. Treasury holdings to becoming net sellers. That's what we were just looking at, especially over the last 34 months, reducing their stake by $564 billion since June of 21. The answer is the Fed. The Fed's going to be the one who buys a lot of these things, which I don't know. Caleb Franzen now some of this stuff he's really good at analyzing this stuff, and I some of this reverse repo stuff or repurchasing, some of it goes a little bit over my head. I want to understand it a little bit more or less. It's basically buying something with an agreement to sell it back at an agreed upon price at that time. So it's kind of like a little funny math to begin. Basically you get upside down on something, and then you're like, all right, well, we're just going to make an agreement that will change these numbers at some point in the future. Yeah. Loosely is my understanding of it, which maybe that's why it doesn't really make sense to me. Why no more Twitch? That's a Twitch thing, Steven. You'll have to ask them about it. They don't like simul streaming. So we had to choose between YouTube and Twitch. We chose YouTube. So welcome, Corey. I knew you'd be OG status. You were always OG status in my heart. So I feel like before 15,000 is a little generous for OG. Yeah, well, it's just the people that were here at the beginning. But yeah, you've been here for a long time. We really appreciate it. So you guys think they'll sell stocks to buy their own bonds? No. So this is pretty interesting. This sets up pretty well with the repurchasing stuff. So I want to break this down. So everyone's concerned about liquidity conditions this week, questioning where's the demand going to come from as the Treasury issues new debt. I'm not concerned. Why? Overnight reverse repos are yielding 5.05%. Meanwhile, Treasuries are yielding 1 month 5.24, 3 month 5.4, 6 month 5.5. What's interesting, and this is this is the part that really starts to mess things up, is the short terms are yielding more than the long terms. And that's what's really crushing a lot of these banks, is they've got these long-term treasuries that are putting off a lower yield than inflation, which gets them upside down when people need to withdraw their deposits. And that's what's causing this bank squeeze.
Right.
Global capital flows to where it generates the highest return per unit of risk, with the debt ceiling concerns behind us, meaning nobody's really concerned about the U.S. defaulting on their debt now, because they've just basically raised the ceiling to print for forever. At least until 2025, they're not even going to revisit how much they're allowed to print. It's just however much they need to. So there's really, at least for the next 2 years, there's no debt concerns. New issuance will, all else being equal, push yields higher on treasuries. This will unequivocally make treasuries more attractive in the short term, so I expect any rise in yields to be immediately eaten up by the market, therefore pushing yields lower on net. Nonetheless, I fully expect to see substantive demand for treasuries, which are currently offering the highest yields since 2001, basically the highest they've ever done in 20 years. All else being equal, higher demand for treasury means that yields will fall over time, particularly after the supply side dynamics take effect. Deposits chase yield, deposits will chase yield, institutions will chase yield, individuals will chase yield, foreign investors will chase yield. No other debt instrument is offering better reward, in my opinion, than short-term federal government debt. We're living through history. I think this will be fun. I might be wrong. Let's enjoy the show.
This is an awesome write-up on it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, it was
How
really
did
good
you
analysis.
tweet that long?
He must have the upgraded one. You know.
Okay.
It's a really confusing subject, and people lose you when they're like, wait a minute, the yield's high on a treasury, and why is this bad? You know what I mean? So you have to have a forest through the trees mindset. You got to be thinking 10 years, 15 years down the line on some of the implications of the yield stuff. But yeah, I mean, what he said, it's kind of like the crux of this Ponzi scheme of fiat that we have right now. So it's pretty important for people to understand, in my opinion. Just, you don't have to live there or anything. Just understand roughly what it is, you know?
Yeah. Let me look real quick. What's the yield on a 10-year?
Shout out to Danny Carney. Welcome to OG Status.
Yeah.
He asked earlier, when, baby? That'll be next month.
Next month?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, July.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it basically plenty of money. There's going to be plenty of buyers of U.S. debt in the short term. And in theory, that should solve the problem in the short term. It's just going to be the question of what happens a couple of years down the line. And that's unfortunately the cycle that we've been in this whole time, where they just kick it down to the next administration, the next election cycle, and it's working for them in the moment. So it's just going to be a matter of here's the other side of that coin. Here's a simple graph of the German Weimar Republic hyperinflation. Some people think that we are in the inflation is transitory, everything is fine stage on the graph. What do you think? Accurate to extremes, circumstances are different. So this is a graph, of German currency, basically from I don't know when this starts, but 1900s basically to 1923. And a lot of people are saying we're kind of in this section right here where we're starting, we had this rampant thing. Maybe this is between 1920 and 1922. Maybe we're in this phase right here.
No, we're in a totally different place because they were in a world war at the time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what's scary. So if we're here and this is potentially 2025, we could be, at the precipice of just the unseen amount of printing.
Yeah.
The question everybody has is, are we here? Are we here? Like, how long does that graph take? We have 2 years before we hit hyperinflation? Do we have 10 years before we hit hyperinflation? Drew, what do you think?
We might not have hyperinflation, but if we continue on the realm that we're at, like I'd see like bread being somewhere around, $10 probably by 2025, 2026, if we keep up at the rate we're at right now. So, I think that food and gas can definitely be inflated real quick in front of us. And if you look at what OPEC is doing with their production being minimalized, their production being reduced, and basically Russia is still able to offload all their oil into Western Europe through the means of India. So we see that we're being outpaced on the world scale. We used to hoist our dollar up with that oil back, and obviously that's being split up right now. And yeah, I mean, we absolutely could be looking at $10 bread by 2025 if we keep it up. So
yeah. I don't know. AJ, how do you feel? Do you think how long until we kind of tip that scale and it's the dollar just gets out of control, inflation?
Yeah. Well, the plus side is at least, everyone will be millionaires, right?
Yeah.
No, but I kind of think, like, everyone has that memory from history class when there's like that person like with that wheelbarrow of money, like and they buy like a loaf of bread or a carton of eggs or like whatever. Like, I kind of feel like America, we will fail completely before we actually get to that point, because I feel like we will just get like overran in some way, shape, or form by whoever. I don't think we'll ever have a wheelbarrow full of money for bread. I think we're too far ahead, or we'll find.
Maybe
I feel like we would fail before that happens.
Maybe it'd be like 10 million CBDC tokens to get a
and you have to
bread.
spend them within 2 weeks, or they lose all their value.
Yes, and you can't spend them if you
and
hang
they
out
know
with me.
when you spend them.
Yeah,
yeah,
very sad.
Very sad.
Well, on that note of food, what? Very sad. Very sad.
Very sad.
This is another way they're starting to come after. The only way to prevent a hyperinflation, you kind of have two, as a government, you have more than two, but your two primary tools when it comes to economic policy is taxes and the money printer, basically. So if you're not going to print yourself into hyperinflation, the scenario you were talking about, AJ, where you're just going to tax your citizens, until they get really upset. That's kind of like what
there'll be a revolution before.
Right. The United Kingdom was dealing with, right. They'd rather deal with revolution than hyperinflation.
Yeah.
And those are your two, again, there's more than two, but those are the two primary ones governments use, to manage their citizens. So, and it looks like they're leaning more towards heavier taxes, just keep extracting more value out of the citizens to try to keep this balance sheet going as long as you can, which is what we've been seeing ever since the 70s. And again, here we've got Wall Street Silver. I don't know. They're somewhat associated with Wall Street Bets, but they're adding a net zero grocery tax now. Now, this is in the UK. This isn't in the United States, but not only reducing the food supply by culling cows and putting farmers out of business, but also increasing taxes and regulation on grocery stores. Are they trying to starve us? So net zero grocery tax will push food prices up by $4 billion.
I shouldn't laugh. This is terrible. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to laugh at the ridiculousness of this.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Now, again, this is preliminary. This is not in the United States. I'm sure it's in specific areas, but that's what we'll start to see is more and more and more ridiculous taxation. Anecdotal Smith, welcome to OG status.
And Casino Doggy.
And Casino. Oh, right. Casino Doggy. Nice. And Smash the Likes. Yeah. But seeing the taxes, and I think this is what's going to push people to, move if they can, but obviously many people, you're stuck where you're at and you're just going to, you're not going to feel you're going to feel the inflation, and they're going to continue to inflate it because that's the easiest way to extract value from you without you realizing it. But they're also going to tax you until you get to a point where people start to push back. And hopefully we're near that now. People are starting to realize, like, wait a minute, this is not what I signed up for. This is not, I want to be able to have some ownership. You should be able to own your own property. You should be
tax your property, though.
Yeah, they do.
You don't own it.
No.
But they tax it.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. It's it's almost impossible to own a property outright here in the United States. Yeah. There is allegedly something called a allodial title or something like that, where you can, apparently the way they get you with property tax. Now, this is just, don't quote me on this. This is a reference from somebody that I heard years ago that this may or may not be accurate. But allegedly, in order to tax something, or in order to have a payment in place for something, there has to be some kind of counteraction that has existed at some point in time. And they say that action is the actual filing of the deed with the county at the courthouse. And when they do that for you on your behalf, when that gets entered into the record in that type of title, it gets entered into legally. That is how they are able to charge property tax for the rest of time, supposedly. Allegedly, there's a way you can go when you close on a property. If you buy it outright, you don't owe anything on it. There's no encumbrances, and you do the title in a very specific way. You can get a allodial title, which gives you full outright ownership. Now, again, I don't know that this is true.
Allodial title.
Yeah, this would be a great episode for Blockchain Bunker to dig into and check these. This was about 10 years ago. Somebody was telling me about this in real estate. And if you do that action of recording the title yourself, supposedly that actually gets you a allodial title and they can't charge you property tax. I don't know if that's true,
What?
but it'd be really interesting to.
I'm gonna
dig
find
into.
out.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna find that out.
Crazy.
That'd be a great blockchain bunker.
It just
episode.
feels so circular. Like they tax everything,
It
you know?
is.
And it's like you get taxed on your income, you get taxed on your food, then you get inflated on your food because they kill all the chickens or, outlaw your cows from farting or whatever the hell their new topping point is.
Yeah.
And then they tax the assets that you make money off of. You get taxed literally if you turn around, you're just getting hit in the face. And that's what the bunker's all about, is waking the hell up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Crypto Stevo said no, not if you have a mortgage. There has to be no encumbrances. You have to
Yeah.
own the property outright.
up.
And when you own it outright, you have to record the title this specific way at that time. Otherwise, you can never get it back. It's very, very difficult. I would say do a lot of research. I know there's a lot of attorneys and stuff that say they can help you do this. A lot of those I think are kind of scammy, so just be careful. Welcome, dude. Welcome to OG status. Great name too, by the way. So, I've got some more stuff, but I think I'm going to save it for tomorrow. That's pretty much all we have time for today. Huge shout out to all you guys. 633 watching live right now. We really appreciate that. Woo. If you guys could smash that like button on the way out. You guys are the true OGs, and you guys are what makes this show fun. Can't wait to be getting you into that Discord. We're going to be doing some fun stuff in there. Like I said, making it more interactive, hanging out, chatting stuff up. This is the Bitcoin Way. Mike Bennett, Casino Doggy, Joe Farino, Bob from Accounting, Kemet Temarakinis, Joey Farino, Dano Crypto, Manowalk. This is the Bitcoin Way. I already said that one. Crypto Stevo, Jason B, Casino Doggy, Dude, Solar Mining in Spain, Ashley Hazelden, Danny Carney, Manowalk, Dano Crypto, Bailey Miller, Red Robles, Uncle Tinfoil Hat, Comment Deleted, look, great name, Aztec Warlord, Crypto Cali Dude, all of you guys, buy some Bitcoin, buy
It's
the
a great
dip.
day to DCA.
It is a great day to DCA.
Great day.
It's a great day to high five somebody, spread the love, spread some joy. Boom.
Let's do it.
Boom. 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 All right, we're out of here. See
Bye.
you guys.